Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get into it. Thursday Night Football kicked off the season. What a great way to open a season with that game, that type of environment. Crowd is back, was loud. You had the Cowboy faithful cheering for their team when they had the ball, and man, did it go back and forth. You couldn't leave your couch. I predicted a blowout. I thought Tampa Bay was going to run away with it, but they did have 4 turnovers, and that's the thing. Let's just chat right there with that. Turnovers is a great equalizer in any sport, mostly in football. In football, it could make you a bad team great for one game, right? If you win the turnover battle, and that's what was happening with Tampa Bay. Now, some of the turnovers were, one was a interception on a Hail Mary. I'm not really going to count that one, but it still counts. But the fact the guy brought it out could have been deadly, right? But it didn't end up anything. It was just one of those crazy returns. And then you had a couple fumbles that happened. One with Ronald Jones, and then one with Chris Godwin, who, by the way, he's an interesting player, right? Before we get into him, the fumble on the goal line, that was big time play by the Cowboys. But also, sometimes you got to know when it's over. You got the first down. Let's win the game and not do too much. And I think he did a little. Sometimes we ask for that. You're one-on-one with the guy. You got to make that play. And I can't fault him for trying. But at the same time, maybe next time that happens, just hold the ball, right? Because that's critical. For the Giants, it's different for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's defense, that pass rush is swarming, boy. And once they get their feet under them and their sea legs about them, and they start to get some players they figure out the system. Because remember, everyone's like, they didn't figure anything out. The offense, the secondary was weak. Well, they're going to need some time to play because one, some of these guys probably didn't start. Two, a lot of these guys who did play in the backup, like Andrew Adams, he wasn't playing all preseason. So for him to get the reads and the reps and everything, he's basically learning on the fly. Now, he'll have 10 days. The Bucks and the Cowboys will have 10 days to make their adjustments, going into week 2. But it was a great week to kick it off. Now, Chris Godwin, I like him. I like him a lot. The thing about him, he seems to be a Jekyll and Hyde player. One minute he'll make a great play, the next minute he'll drop the ball, and you're like, "What the heck happened?" And then there'll be another time he'll make that fumble, and you're like, "What are you doing?" And then he'll make another circus catch. And he was the same way last year. They needed a big play. They went to him deep. He failed. They did it again. They did the same play in Green Bay where he dropped the ball and he did that same post route and caught it and made a great play on it. So he's a kind of a Jekyll and Hyde player. What was interesting to me is Mike Evans only had like 1 or 2 catches, which is interesting to see. And Antonio Brown, boy, he's back. Huh? He's back. Tom Brady laying it out there for him, throwing the ball all over the yard. And Gronk looking a little old, but still being a Gronky self. I mean, my God. It's like, is he the best tight end we've ever seen? I don't know, but he's making a case for it. The guy's got a lot of rings. He's healthy. I mean, he played an integral part. Every time that guy touches the ball, it seems like he's either scoring touchdowns or running somebody over. It's just fantastic to watch. So, Tampa Bay, great start. For the Cowboys, it was an up and down season. But if you think Dak Prescott is the backup quarterback, some of you out there know who you are. You need to take that off the table right now because the dude threw for 400 yards. Yeah, it's a Cowboy. No, people need to know he's a starting quarterback. Put your bias aside. See, that's the thing. If you're a biased guy or gal and you're looking at it like, well, I don't like the Cowboys, so regardless of what Dak does, he's not good. Well, that's not how you look at football. You can do that on Sundays when you're playing your team, most definitely. But when the guy is out there and he's producing, driving the team down to almost win the game, you know what I mean? Not throwing a ball to CeeDee Lamb that should have been caught, that bounces up into another player's hands. I mean, the guy did everything he could to win that football game last night with a bad arm. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I thought sometimes his throws looked a little weak on certain throws. Some of them looked like they were lacking a lot of velocity. They're kind of floating up there. Now, I don't know if that's going to be a problem going forward. We'll see. But if I'm the Cowboys, I don't want to see Dak Prescott throwing 40 to 50 times a game, which he did. It was like 42 52 or 58 or some crazy number. Like, man, that's a lot of times to throw the ball, almost 60 times in a game. And yet Ezekiel Elliott had like 0 to no rushing yards. I get it because you're scared of Tampa's defense, but to me, their pass rush is just as fierce. So to put the ball in harm's way like that, and put your quarterback who's getting laid out in some situations. My God, the guy was getting, Ndamukong Suh was drilling him, JPP. I mean, these guys were coming in and they were laying hits on Dak Prescott. So if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm a little concerned about that just because he is coming off a shoulder injury and a foot injury, and I don't want to re-aggravate anything that could be going on, especially because, you're relying. I feel like the Dallas Cowboys are Dak Prescott and that's it because Zeke Elliott's done nothing. All right, Tony Pollard's better built for this offense. I mean, for what they want to do, he's just better built. He may not have the power to run guys over the same way as Zeke Elliott, but when he's in the game, that tempo of that Cowboy team is just, it's going. And then Kellen Moore, I think the guy's name is, the offensive coordinator, he's going to be a coach one day, man. He's young. Don't let that baby face get you. He'll be a quarterback, a coach sometime. I don't know if he'll be next year. He'll probably get more interviews next year, but if he does it again the third year with Mike McCarthy, 2022, that offseason going into 2023, he'll probably be head coach somewhere. So, very enjoyable game. Loved it. If you're a Cowboy fan, you hated it because you lost in the last second field goal, which, what did you expect, right? You give Tom Brady almost a minute and a half with a field goal to win the game. That's just a recipe for disaster. So, the Cowboys played a valiant effort. Shouldn't take anything away. They're still going to be fighting for that NFC's crown. If their defense was kind of an interesting thing that I saw on the defense before I sign off is they weren't using Jalen Smith a lot. Now, I don't know if that's by design, if that's, if he's in a doghouse. And I know they used Keanu Neal, and it seemed like they were doing a lot of things differently. And they're trying to feature Micah Parsons, who, by the way, is more of a pass rusher than a drop back passer. Okay, drop back in coverage kind of guy. He'll acquire that. Okay, he'll do that. But let's be honest, he's there to blitz. He's there to make tackles. He's not there to cover backs out of the backfield. Backs out of the backfield. Yeah, he's not there to cover receiver. Okay, just plain and simple. I don't care. Unless he's running Tampa 2, which he wasn't running a Tampa 2. He was just playing man coverage. That's different. When they're running Tampa 2, look at Blake Martinez. Remember that play he had against Cam Newton? That was a Tampa 2. You drop out, you bail out in the middle of the field, you turn around, and you get the guy. Micah Parsons is going to do that. Let him learn the game. I'm telling you, he will learn the game. I'm not worried about his coverage skills right now, especially because he didn't do a lot of that in college. He was more of a blitzer, more of an edge rusher, and a guy who you put him in a linebacker because you need to get him on the field. So, Cowboys 0-1, Giants 0-0, and Tampa Bay 1-0. Right, so let's go. Sunday's going to be fun. Get your popcorn ready.